Well, Jay, 2025 has been an incredible year for Wilder Minds. It's been an incredible year for Keefer Brothers app, in the field, in the studio, the stories that we've been telling. And we thought we'd do a little something special here for the end of the year.
Yeah, kind of like a best of recap. It's, a year doing this. I remember last year about this time we were talking about kicking up the Wilder Minds podcast, and now we're a year into it. And I was listening to some of the segments from the last year, and there's some good ones.
Yeah, there's some Wilder Minds there.
There's some Wilder Minds there. So I'm excited to kind of take a trip down memory lane, if you will, over the last 365 days.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. These are always fun to do because it's a look back on the year. It's a look back at the stories that we've told. And we definitely have some wild ones, so let's get right into it. All right, so I think one of my favorite stories that we told is in episode number 1, the brothel on the bay.
Yeah. I know about the crab boat, and I know about the story and going to the island for the first time, you and Chris. But when I heard about this crab boat and what it was,
oh yeah,
I was shocked.
I know. It's incredible. Basically, the episode that we did a recap of a place that we had hunted in Alaska on a Bering Sea crab boat that transformed into something different than a Bering Sea crab boat. And so this is Brothel on the Bay. I just came across that boat that we caribou hunted on the other day.
There's the story. Casey called me to tell me this.
This is
it still on the water?
No.
Technically it's in the water.
Not on the water. Yeah. Dude, it's unbelievable. I haven't even filled you in yet.
Yeah.
It's ripe for, it's going to be its own little mini.
It's going to be its own whole episode.
It is on the
I didn't know about this.
The story.
The crab boat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was the name of that boat?
It started
Depends
off
on what time you said.
It started off as the Shaman. We'll just leave it at that because the story is wild and crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I can't wait to get into that.
Yeah, you're going to love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Quick highlights. It changed its name. It became Home to Strippers, and they sunk it.
Yeah.
Home to Strippers, meaning they lived on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And operated on it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then
a brothel
it got
on the water.
And then it got sabotaged and sunk to the 6,000 feet to the bottom of the ocean.
Is this in Alaska?
Yes.
Yeah.
When are we going to go visit this thing?
It's the story is
okay.
It's for another episode, but we'll get there.
Oh man.
So there you go. There's some of the shit you can expect with Wilder Minds. Well, it's safe to say that this next episode, you might have been a little green around the gills.
Yeah. So had a little bet going with Chris in the Yukon, and this was back in 2012. And I said, if you kill a bull, I'll do a little tobacco pouch. Well, it's safe to say I haven't done one since.
The old, if you do this, I'll throw in a lipper. Never a good bet.
No, not for me anyway.
But there was a time when we said if we should get this moose, you need to have one.
I said if we kill a moose tomorrow, I'll rip a pouch with you.
Yeah.
And like I'm a hardcore chewer.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't even with you.
No,
I would have never thrown the Copenhagen.
The snuff, the good stuff.
There's no way.
This was a grizzly pouch.
I said I'll rip a grizz with you if you kill a moose tomorrow. So sure enough, he lights a moose up at like 600 yards with a muzzle loader.
Did you shoot the first cow you saw? Never said it had to be a bull.
Longest shot I've ever made with a muzzle loader.
Longest ever in history with traditions back in the day.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm filming and I'm getting we're caping and quartering. Give me one of them things, man. I'm sucking on that baby, and swallowed a little bit, spit a few.
Yeah.
Start getting warm. It's 35, 38 degrees. Man, I'm getting hot. It's hot. I take off the meat sweater, take it off. I'm down to my T-shirt. I'm getting hotter. And then all of a sudden, man, I think I got a shit. So I say, I laid down 8 minutes of caping and quartering. I'm dialed. I'm good.
He's got it.
I told myself I was good. I'm never good, but I was good at that moment. I said, I'm just gonna go over here in the willows real quick, take a shit, curl up, take a nap. He finds me like 20 minutes later. He's like, and this is day 30 of our drop trip. So we have zero in our bodies.
Yeah.
It's like anything that I take, it's going right to my blood.
Yeah.
I was shit-faced on a frickin' brown pillow in the middle of the Yukon. How's that happen?
I would never forget. We caped and quartered. We packed it. We were getting ready to put it on the horse, and I go, I gotta see where JB's at. Go over. He's just curled in a bush. He's just out. I said, hey, and he gets. He's like,
but I had when you woke me up, I had hypothermia because I was freezing at that point.
Freezing because he took off all of his stuff because he was so hot.
So we actually have a list of everything that we're going through, and this next episode is titled 2 Pipes, 1 Bush, Jay.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do know this. I love to smoke a pipe in the bush, and so do you.
I do.
It's something that we do, whether we're on the rafts, whether we're sitting around the fire after a long day of glassing and packing meat out. It's just kind of like that reflection point.
Yeah. It ties everything together. It's like a moment of just like, all right, cool. If I'm smoking a pipe out there, that means something went right and we're chilling. Speaking of feedback, I don't think a lot of people knew that you used to rip darts.
Right? Oh, unbelievable. All right. Okay, people. If you were born in the 90s, you fucking smoked too. Don't act like you didn't.
You listened to
Born
Dave
in the
Matthews.
90s.
You listened to Dave
You were born in the
Matthews.
90s?
No, if you graduated, I'm sorry,
Jesus.
in the 90s.
So
Not
you
born.
aged heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you graduated between 95 and 2005, you listened to Dave Matthews and you smoked cigarettes.
Or
And wore Birkenstocks without socks.
Exactly. And so you did. You absolutely. And I know a lot of these people now that are in their mid-40s are closet darts, where like you go to a party and like no one's going to smoke. But man, that one person breaks the rule and goes outside. All of a sudden it's like, yeah, I'd have a dart with you. Sure, I'll have a dart with you. Next thing you know, 10 people in their 40s. So don't judge me.
Everybody out there ripping heaters.
Ripping heaters. You know, I was never a smoker, but I do love the smell of an outdoor cigarette.
I'm a pipe guy.
Oh, yeah. You and I, yeah.
JV and I smoked the pipe on dropped. It's nice. Yeah. Very nice.
Hold on.
I could take that a whole nother level.
Let's back up for a second.
That look you just gave me.
Let's back up for a second. Let me rephrase that.
Oh, no.
I take a tobacco pipe and I light it while I'm on drop, as does Jason.
You smoke your own tobacco pipe.
Yeah.
No one else's.
Fucking shot out of cannon on this episode, folks. So this next story, anytime we have old Mikey P involved in the podcast, it's always entertaining because he's A, one of the greatest guys ever, and B, he's a great storyteller.
Great storyteller, and he always likes to have fun. So, you know, when he talks, you can like hear his smile through the story.
Yep.
And that's what I love about Mike is it's always upbeat, but this story, wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. So Mike spent some time in the Navy, and this story revolves around maybe a little friendly fire and hitting an unintended target with a full pass-through of a missile, would you call it?
A missile.
You were in the Navy. You're on a ship. Take it from there.
Yeah, 5 years. Haze Grant underway, more time at sea than on land. Amazing experience, honored to have served my country, but you do some firing drills when you're deployed overseas, and so there's shipping lanes. These are the places like driving lanes, freeways. There are lanes that transport and cargo ships are supposed to use. So if you're coming from the Far East to the Pacific, West Coast, you follow these shipping lanes. That way, if there's trouble, it's common sense, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the map, here's the path. So when we do firing missions, we'll drag some old rust bucket out there and an old ship that they want to sink anyway, and they'll pull it way out in the middle of nowhere, way away from the shipping lanes, right, where nothing should be, and nothing human made. And then they send out maritime notices. So all these cargo ships and everything, you always get notices, So we say the U.S. Navy is going to be conducting a live fire drill on a target in these coordinates on this date at this time. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
And so we were shooting, I want to say it was the Tomahawk missiles then, it was the late 80s. And so an F-18 took off from a carrier and fired one, a submarine fired one, and we as a surface warship fired one. And then the whole goal was to work the coordinates for the electronics, right? That's why you do the firing missions and make sure it's accurate. And so everyone does their fire. And the warheads were blunts, right? They're not tipped, right? They're just arrows, right?
Yeah.
It's a blunt. It's not a
judo
broadhead.
point, if you will.
It's a tomahawk judo point.
Yeah, it's a tomahawk judo.
We actually had nuclear package on them. Like to see
Going hot, boys.
like to see who gets the biggest mushroom cloud, us, the F-18, or the sub. And so it's just it's just a piece of metal hurtling through the air at the target. And so all of a sudden, we realize that it's locked on to something else. Something big, something else. It's not going to, so the F-8, all three lock on. So the F-18 chases theirs down and shoots it out of the sky over the horizon, shoots it down. Verifies they shoot it down. It's still up in the air to this day, almost 40 years later. We said we got ours to detonate midair, but the submarine claims they got theirs to detonate midair, and submarines beat warships in a battle, so they got their way. So in the end, one of the missiles did not get blown up. It actually hit the wrong thing, which happened to be an Indian tanker, right? So think, oh, it's very good to see you, Casey, my friend. It's been a long time. And so this tanker, and so if you know these tankers, they're all cargo. And then there's one big superstructure across the top, and there's only about 20 to 25 people on it.
You're talking like a TMU setup? Like a TMU setup with
shipping containers.
Shipping containers.
Yeah, it's all the containers,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
But then the superstructure's over the top, so that's where the captain and the navigator and all these people are, right? And the guy watching and everything else. So they're all up there, and you got to cook and some people, but they all live in this 7-level superstructure.
Is this official? At sea, you have to look like this?
You do, yes.
The only way you can actually...
Slightly tilted, but if it stuns low, you got to come down, right? But it's an adjustable visor. So it's like, it's impacted the target. Hey, you guys are the closest warship. Go
way to go.
Offer
Go see what you
offer
hit.
assistance, right? So Casey, I didn't mean to shoot a hole in you.
Yeah.
But since I'm the closest guy, I'm going to come over and just see how you're feeling.
How we doing?
So I had a top secret clearance, so I'm in the Combat Information Center, so I'm hearing all this, and I'm like, oh, I've got to see this. This is insanity. So then they're like, by the way, when you pull up, make sure 4 or 5 people are out on topside with firearms present, right? So be armed in case they're freaking out, which they should have been. So we just shot a hole through their superstructure. So we're coming up and we don't know what's happened, but we're going to offer assistance. And so we're coming up on them, and you see through the big eyes, the ship's big eyes, you can see on the horizon, here's the ship, and I'm looking, and I'm not kidding you, there's a hole, a perfect hole, about 2/3 of the way up this white superstructure, and it's big. A Tomahawk missile isn't like, a 300 round. It's a
telephone pole.
It's a giant hole.
So there's a hole all the way through it, and it looked like, the best way to describe it, because we get closer and closer, and then you can just see it. And I'm looking at, and it looked like somebody took a cigar to a piece of paper and just ran it right through it. So you got the black singe marks all around where the cigar ash got it, and that's there.
Yeah.
And it's tragic because somebody died, right? One person was killed, and then one person was injured, but not badly. And so we pull up, and they're not happy. And we're like, hey, we're here to offer assistance. And I think the first thing we said was like, it wasn't us. We just happened to be assigned to come help you. And in situations like that, there's very few times in your life I would encourage lying. This is one of them. So we they're like, come on board. So we helicopter, we lift our ship's doctor and an armed guard up over and put them on the main deck, and then they walk over and they confirm the one person's dead, and they box him up, and that's that. And then they offer assistance to the other guy. And then that was it. Like, we lifted our guy back over, our 2 guys, and, we said goodbye, and they kept staying on with, it didn't damage the ship was fully underway and under power, right? It just had a cigar hole
Just
right
had a
through
full
the-
pass through.
Just had an entire
it had a
Tomahawk missile.
new breezeway is what you'd call it.
Right through the superstructure.
One of the greatest things that I did in 2025 is Chris and I actually went bow fishing inside of the pyramid at Bass Pro Shops. That was one of the coolest things. We weren't shooting at actual fish. We were shooting at targets, but it was pretty badass.
Yeah, I know. When you guys said you went bow fishing, I'm starting to think about how many times have we bow fished in the past? How about none?
Never.
How about none?
Yeah, never. I'm not going to lie. I did pretty good.
You did good, but
On the other hand, Chris was not so good.
Talking about reactions and Bill, I want to talk, Jay. I don't think that we've even shared this story with you yet. Uh, so we ended up, so Chris told you there's boats out in the water inside the pyramid while we're down at this bow fishing thing, right? And on the boats, they actually have a bunch of these Oneida bows, and they've got everybody in the tournament can sign up to do this shootout, like literally inside the store, standing on boats. They threw these targets out in the pond, and everybody was shooting, right? So all these people come through, and they're running a tournament, and they get down to like the final. I think it was like the top 10 contestants or something. And so they're like, all right, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to do the final. But in the meantime, we're going to get all these guys up here that are here on behalf of Bass Pro and Cabela's, and we're going to let them have a little shoot-off, which meant that Chris and me and the Slock Master and Pigman and all of us had to go up there and shoot in front of this massive crowd of people that are diehard bow fishermen. I am not a diehard bow fisherman. I have never fired a bow fishing bow in my life. And so we had to get up there, we had to shoot. And let me tell you, it was. You want to take it from here, Chris?
Sure. I'll take it.
Humbling, maybe.
Yeah. Let me tell you, you can already predict the reaction that I had, which was, had I not been in front of about 1,500 people, I would have thrown that bow. I'd have broke that bow in half.
Yeah.
And thrown it out. So I get up there, and I've never fired a bow fishing bow in my life, as Casey says. And I literally said to Tim Wells, I go, Tim, like, walk me through this. I obviously knocked the arrow. I get it. But, like, button pushing, he's like, yeah, you just crank it up, throw it in there. He's like, pull it back, shoot it. Its fingers is light. And he's like, shoot, and then reel it in. Well, there's more to it, okay?
Yeah.
So we get up there. It's the two of us. They said, all right, Keefer brothers are going to go first, and they're going to compete against each other. So we get up there, and we're first. And I'm like,
nothing to learn from.
Nothing.
You're dry.
I got nothing. I'm dry run right now. And I'm like, this is going to be brutal. So I get up there.
And I saw there's hundreds of people around this lake, and basically they're in the background when you guys are shooting.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's safe. They're behind stuff, but, there's a lot of humans watching.
The entire Bass Pro at this point has been there. Right, Case?
Every one of them knows what the hell they're doing. Like, these guys are diehards. Yeah. Like, they are diehards.
Yeah.
I'm used to shooting fights back, not fish.
Yeah.
So we're not.
So everybody that's watching is judging based on the fact that they're all here to shoot a tournament, and then here comes me, basically. Yeah. I get up there. So I grab this bow, and I'm ready to go, and I don't know what the difference is between any of them, but I'm like, look, I'm an archer. I can shoot. Like, let's go. So Tim knocks everything for me, gets it all ready the first time, hands me the bow. So the first shot, right? I'm like, okay, this is great. He's like, aim low, and if you think you're aiming lower, aim lower than that. And he's like, because it's going to be, the water and
the reflection.
Okay, got it. So I'm like, and these are they got this awesome setup with this carp. These fake carp are out there in the actual water and stuff, and they're 10, 15, 5 feet. They're all over, right? So I pick a good broadside one because I'm like, I need a broadside
right behind
fish.
Right behind the pectoral fence.
Fish. So I first one, draw back, and I let go. Boom. I miss it. It goes over top of it, and it sticks in the actual, like, bottom of the pond.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tank.
So this is something that he didn't talk to me about. What's that?
Bottom of the tank is concrete.
Yeah, it's concrete. I'm stuck in the bottom of the thing. So Casey, he shoots. Of course, he hits one, right? So he's reeling his in. I'm stuck. I say to Tim, I go, what do you do? I'm pulling on it, but I'm like, what do you do? And he goes, well, you wrap it around here, and you use your bow, and you pull it. So I'm like wrapping this stuff up. I'm pulling on it, and then it comes loose. And I'm like, okay, so I didn't know that was
a time limit, or what's going on
No,
here?
it's just a race to see who could get the first two in the boat.
Okay, gotcha.
So I wrap it around this thing, and now I'm using my bow. Well, that was new to me. I didn't know that little thing up here was meant for those things when you're stuck, and then you use your bow to pull the thing out. So I get that done. So I get it up there. I pull it up. I get it in. I knock it. Well, what I was doing is I knocked it, and then I reeled it all the way super tight, so there was no slack.
Yeah.
Well, when I would pull back, it would come off the knock.
Yeah.
And so I put it back on the knock, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And it come off the knock again.
There's no.
And it's all slippery because now I'm wet. And I'm like, okay. And the whole time, Casey's he's just shooting, reeling it in, shooting. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So in the entire time that it took for Casey to shoot two fish and reel it in, I fired my bow twice. I fired my bow the very first shot into the cement, and then I pulled it out, and for 5
fired
minutes,
it at yourself?
I fought this knock. I turned around at one point and looked at Tim, and I was like completely away from the crowd, and I just go, what the fuck is happening? Like, so angry. And he goes, I don't know. And the guy from Muzzy was there, Chris, he walks up to me and he goes, is something wrong with your knock? And I go, you think? And so he puts it on. He goes like this. He pulls it back. He goes, no, it's fine. He hands it back to me. And I go, well, Jesus. I tighten it. And I go, it falls right off again. And I am now in the red zone.
Yeah.
Red zone.
Lots of people
A lot of
watch.
people watching. And I am.
There's whispers, heavy whispers in the
Oh,
crowd.
they're going, look at the idiot over there with the bow.
If you would have heard the guttural growl that came like the 7th time the knock came off the thing, it was not unlike a grizzly outside the tent. Just
Oh, I've never been, I could feel the blood pressure coming up, and it was coming up, and I'm like, I was literally, and then I'm like, okay, it's good. So Casey shoots the second one. He's reeling it in, and the whole time I'm thinking to myself, please just shoot a second one.
Yeah.
I gotta get off this.
Yeah,
boat.
we gotta get off the
I gotta
rock.
get off this rock.
Get off the rock.
Shut it down. I gotta get off this rock. So we literally, he brings it up, and he's like, oh, and then Tim Wells just proceeds to have a heyday with it. He's like, I mean, you just got your ass handed to you. And I'm like, you think? So, I mean, it was so fun, though, to, like, do it all. But I'm telling you right now, red line. Red line.
At Keefer Brothers, our mission is to pass on what the wild has taught us. Every single step into the wild tells a story, and we've spent years capturing those moments in the rawest way possible. So if you're not afraid to step outside of your comfort zone and you want to go further and live the kind of life that most people only talk about, be sure to visit KeeferBrothers.com. Whether you're there for the stories, the skills, or the connection, everything lives at KeeferBrothers.com and the all-new companion app.
Every shot counts. And when it's time to make it count, you want the best. Winchester Ammunition has built its legacy on a commitment to innovation by continuously pushing what's possible. In the heartland of America, the American legend crafts ammunition that's purpose-built, reliable, accurate, and ready to perform no matter how harsh the conditions. Whether you're hunting or shooting for sport, Winchester will be there.
All right, let's talk about beer for a second. You ever notice there's a big difference between Busch Light drinkers and other beer drinkers? I like to say we live on the wild side. You know, a guy with a Busch Light in his hand, he's a man of the people. He's out there in the wild every day. He's in the trenches smashing bushies with a smile on his face. You know why? Because he doesn't care. He's not looking for a soulmate. He just needs something to wash that damn jerky down. And he's got himself a 12-pack of Freedom in a can. And when that can gets cracked, it's like opening a door to a whole different world. It's just a vibe. And if you haven't felt it, you should. So go grab yourself a case of bushies, give them a rip, and take a walk on the wild side. Wherever your adventure takes you, count on Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's to make it memorable. From the timberline to the campsites to the lake and the range, get your family outfitted with the right gear. With premium brands like Worldwide Sportsman, Ascend, Instinct, Redhead, and Natural Reflections, they've got the apparel and the gear to make it the best adventure ever. Stop by today for a one-of-a-kind shopping experience in-store or online at BassPro.com and Cabela's.com. See for yourself at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's stores. Your adventure starts here.
So we had Dakota Eber on, and great guy, incredible bass fisherman, but he had a story about a muskie.
Yes, he had a story about a muskie. Dakota's a bass fisherman, and there's a big difference between muskie and bass. And he went out not intending to catch a muskie. He was trying to catch bass, and he ended up with a muskie in the boat. And then I guess all hell broke loose from there.
Yeah.
Well, fast forward, and it's funny because the guy at the tackle store told us, he was like, man,
he's like, you're probably going to end up catching a musky. You know, we fish all summer long for the chance to catch one, and bass fishermen catch them all the time by accident, and we catch big bass all the time, and we don't care about catching them. And I'll be damned, the first daggum day we went out there, and I'm in a brand new, my first new boat that I'd ever had. My buddy that was with me at the time, he's throwing a buzz bait at the back of the boat, and this giant muskie comes up and eats it. And he gets it all the way to the side of the boat, and he's like, dude, I gotta get it, I gotta take a picture of this thing. And I was like, man, the guy told us, do not put them in your boat because they'll destroy it.
Cradle them and keep them in.
Don't do that. Well, he's just dying to have a picture of this thing. I'm like, dude, whatever, but just don't drop him. Brand new boat. You know how musky.
That's the
musky
stinky, slimy.
Bruh. He picks this thing up, and I have a picture. Like, I'd have to go way back on my iMessage thing, but I have a picture of it. Like, that's whenever those live pictures first come out. And the picture, like when you press it, it's him slapping him clean across the side of the face, and then he drops in the bottom of the boat, and it just wrecks out my boat. I'm like, dude, we could have burned the boat. It's so bad. Oh, carpet, absolutely.
Oh no.
So we all live pretty close to each other, but we live out of town, you know, so we're in the country a little bit. And if we get a visitor in our driveway or at our house that we don't know, I mean, it doesn't happen much.
No, and it's not advised either. You don't show up unannounced at any of our houses.
No, and so Chris had this visitor that showed up, and some weird things happened after that.
Yeah, I looked at the sheet. His name was Doug, but I think he's the front yard monster.
Okay, so it's Friday night, and I got home and was like, man, let's go grab something to eat. Kylie had to work. I rolled over to Vidu to the bar. They have Mitch's there. It's happy hour. Get a drink, and we got some chicken lollipops. Big fan, right? I have a glass of wine. So it's early. It's like Bluebird dinner. It's like 5 o'clock. I'm done with dinner at like 6. So I'm like, all right, let's go home. So I'm coming home, and there's, as I pull into my driveway, that vehicle is in my driveway, and there's a man walking around my house. So immediately I'm like, who is this?
Yeah,
I don't recognize the car. I do recognize an elderly human. So I'm like, okay.
Maybe
Maybe he's lost. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have the Ring doorbell. And if you listen to the Ring doorbell, he's ringing the doorbell. I'm answering him, but I'm behind him. So I pulled up and blocked the car, and I'm behind him, and he's looking in the door going, can you help me just take me to, and he's talking gibberish. And I'm like, hey, I am behind you. So he comes off my porch, and he goes right, and he's going into the garage.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, and I am standing now, and I'm like, okay.
Something's going on.
What's going on with this dude, right? Is he whacked out of his mind? Is he tweaking? Is he drunk? What is it? Whatever it is, he's not supposed to be here. So I tell Katie, sit in the car, let me go see what I can do. Recognizing it's an old man, and I feel pretty good about I could physically beat the shit out of him, so I'm good. Like, I didn't need my weapon at this point. I'm like, I feel like, but then I get close, and he's got on all these baggy clothes, and he is not. He turns around, he's like, take me to 30 and just drop me off. And I'm like, I gotta be honest with you, who the fuck are you? I'm like, what are you doing here? What's your name? So I start to kind of interview the guy a little bit. Doug. Okay, so let's just leave it at that, Doug. So Doug is struggling, like something's going on. And I'm like, Doug, I don't feel safe letting you go. I was like, I need to get you a ride somewhere. Something's wrong with you. And I honestly, I couldn't tell, is this medical? Is this whatever?
Yeah.
Well, he keeps putting his hands in his pocket. So I said, hey, do me a favor. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I said, I'm just going to tell my wife that everything's okay. She's in the car still. And he just looks at me real quick and he goes, don't call the cops. Whatever you do, don't call the cops. I'm like, I wouldn't do that, Doug. I said, as a matter of fact, I'll leave my phone right here. So I left my phone on the hood. I went right back to the vehicle. I looked at Katie and I said, you call the cops.
Yeah.
I said, he's not dangerous at this moment. And as I'm doing this, I am racking my gun and put, my 9 that I carry, my concealed that I carry, my little one. And so I rack it, I put it in my back, and I'm putting my gun in, and I look at Katie and I said, he is not dangerous at the moment, but he's incoherent. So you have to tell the cops this guy is completely incoherent and lost. And that's all the information I give her. Now she has to do the rest because I got to shut the door because I got to go back to Doug because Doug is now wandering and he's coming around, and I'm like, I don't like this. So So she calls the cops, and the license plate, gives them the license plate, tells them all this. They'll be like, we're right there. So anyway, he's giving me these numbers, and he's like, call Tim. Okay, give me Tim's number. 989, goes through these things. First number, he goes, 989-246-1964744748. I said, Doug, that's so many fucking numbers. I don't know what to tell you right now.
I catch a niner in there.
Calling from Milwaukee.
Who are we
extra
calling?
digit.
I was like, Doug, you got a few extra numbers, bud. You got to back up, right? So he's like, you're right. And he goes through it again. Same numbers. Completely. And I'm like, all right. So I said, Doug, you don't have any weapons on you, do you? And he's like, well, why would I have those? You're not going to shoot me, are you? You want me to shoot you? I'm not going to shoot. I said, Doug, look, at this point, that would be the worst decision you ever made. So why don't we get our hands out of our pockets and let me just understand what's going on? And I said, why don't you just sit down? So he sits down, and I put him, and he sits on the cement. At that point, I tell Katie, get out. Like, I don't want you out here. Get out and get in the house. That way I just know you're in there. So she gets out, goes around the vehicle. She goes around the other side, and I'm blocking between them. Now he's sitting Indian style, and he's looking at me with these, and he's just repeating things over and over, and you can tell he's just not there. And I wait. And so he keeps saying, call this person. So the first person I called, it just went to like, this is no longer a phone. So I just kept hitting the same number. Yeah. I'm like, no, dog, that's not it. Same number. Cause I know whoever I get on the other end is not going to do anything. The police are on their way. I'm just trying to stall this guy. And so I'm talking to him, and I said, you got a little alcohol problem, Doug? He says, well, said, I've been in rehab a few times, and then all of a sudden, man, this guy starts, and I'm like, okay. Is it medication? Is it like, what's going on? So he's a complete disaster in the driveway. Now he's shaking to the point where I'm like, okay, like, we're going to need medical attention. Yeah. This guy's, he went from no longer a threat. So what I did is I said, can you do me a favor and just keep your hands out of your pocket? I don't know what you have in there. He's like, yes. I said, for your safety and mine. He's like, got it. And he was very good about it. So he was, at this point, he was like, he realized I'm there to help him, right? So he's like, and I said, I got a buddy that's going to give you a ride. And so he's like, okay. Well, all of a sudden, I see the cop pulls in. I said, my buddy's here. Now he's in front of the vehicle, so he can't see. I said, just stay here. My buddy's here. I'm going to go figure it out. So I meet the cop, and we have a conversation. I said, look, completely incoherent. I don't think he's drunk, though. Like, I can't smell alcohol on him. I said, something's wrong. I said, I don't know. He doesn't even seem like he's high. Like, it's a medical issue, I think, it's going on. He's like, okay. So he walks up to him. This is where it gets really good. He walks up to him, and I said, hey, how's it going today, Doug? He's like, I'm good. He said, I'm totally fine. He says, I'm good. He goes, I'm ready to go if you guys are. And where I said, Doug, where are we going? He goes, well, I'll follow you. Let's head back home. And I said, so he now realizes there's a cop there. Oh, yeah. Right?
He pulled it together real quick.
Pulls it together, right? And he goes, I'm ready to go if you are. And he says, where are we going? He says, I'll follow you. He says, well, where did you come from? He goes, I don't know. He has no recollection of even getting there. Right? So this is bad. So the cop says, okay. He goes, would you mind taking, breathalyzer or whatever? He says, yeah, that's fine. So he goes, okay, I'll go get it. So he goes, this is what Doug reaches in his pocket, okay? And I said, hey.
Not supposed to reach in, Doug.
I said, hey, buddy. I said, what do you, he goes, no. He goes, he reaches in and he pulls out the biggest joint I've ever seen in my life. And he goes like this, and he goes, take this, take it, take it. He hands it to me, and then he goes, I'll come back for it. I said, Doug, you don't even know where the fuck you are right now. What do you mean you're coming back for it? You can't even tell me what your address is. He goes, take it. And the cop's coming. I said, Doug, it's legal. Yeah. You bought this from a dispensary. It's like a literal, like it has like a tube. I said, Doug, it's legal. And this is a guy that's been smoking pot for so long.
Yeah, he thinks it's illegal.
He thinks that it's like, you know what I mean? Like, he's on this train, so he goes, take this. So I take it. I'm holding it like this, right? The cop walks back up. I said, this is Doug's. He goes, yeah, I figured. He goes, just set it on the thing there. So I set it on the hood. So he
gave it to you.
He gave it to me.
And better yet, you took it.
I did. Yeah. I said, I had it like this. There's a video. Katie shot it from and you see me like this with it, like it's on a platter. And I just go, this is his. And he goes, yeah, I figured. Oh, man. So he takes it, right? And after that, the cop comes back. He does the breathalyzer, and he's blowing a number. And it's something resonating, right? And he says, Doug, you sure you didn't drink tonight? He says, no. Nothing. He goes, I'll tell you what I did do. goes back in that pocket again. And now both of us are like, hey, whoa, whoa. Like, you know, because I had told the cop, I said, just so you know, like I have like I'm strapped here, just letting you know for safety reasons. He's like, absolutely. He was totally fine with it. And I go, and we both are like, hey, slow down. What you got? Pulls out a jug of Listerine.
Oh.
My man's been having some mouthwash.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, now things are starting to fall into perspective. He's got Listerine. He's like, obviously, he's like struggling from alcoholism in the past, all this other stuff. So he goes, yeah, I've been sipping on the mouthwash here. Drinking, because it has alcohol in it, but he's been drinking Listerine. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, crazy ass story. Cop says, okay, and he does what he does, and he's a super nice guy, and he turns and he starts walking away. Doug goes, you don't have to do that. He looks at me and I go, what'd I do? He goes, you don't have to show him the weed. I said,
he's worried about that joint.
Doug, it's legal. He goes, then give it back. I said, it's right there on the hood. He grabs it real quick like that and he goes, I mean, he knows, he saw it. I said, he saw it. It's okay. He's not going to arrest you for your weed.
Yeah.
He puts it in his pocket. Guy comes back and he goes, all right, Doug. He goes, we're going to get you a ride. He goes, am I going home? And the guy goes, well, if you're asking me if you're going to jail, you're not. You've done nothing wrong. We're actually going to get you some medical attention. So they got the ambulance on the way. This is the best. So the ambulance rolls up and he goes, oh, good. The ambulance is here. He goes, I'll follow you. He puts the keys in the car and he goes, where are we going? He goes, hospital. He goes, all right, I'll follow you. And he's getting ready. And he says, no, I don't think you understand. You're not driving. And he goes, no. He goes, if I'll just follow that and we'll head over to the hospital. And he says, you can't do that. So then he like plays and he goes, okay, you can have my keys. And the guy says, look, I don't need your keys. Like, I'm pretty sure you're not going to run. And Doug does this move. He goes, what if I throw my keys like this? And he goes like that. And he like is going to throw his keys in the yard and then like he's going to run, but he's like 90.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude.
It's like Anthony Hopkins.
It was like this craziest thing. Like he'd have these lucid moments. So heartfort for him.
Lucid.
It would be like there and then he would just like, it was 10-second Tom.
Yeah.
So my cat walks up, right? One of the barn cats comes out. He goes, oh, that's a cute puppy. I said, that's a cat. He goes, yeah, that is a cat. He goes, I have a cat. I said, nice. I go, what's his name? No idea. I said, all right. He turns around, he looks at the cop, and he's like, okay, we're going to get a ride? Are we going to get ready? He says, yeah. He turns around, he goes, God, that's a cute puppy. I go, 10-second Tom here has got something going on bad.
Yeah.
So it's flipping. So then I don't know if it's sugar. You don't know what it is, but it's something is triggering
dementia,
him.
You just don't know. I mean,
so at this point, we've de-escalated the entire situation. He is not of any harm whatsoever. He is a very nice old man who just likes to get stoned. But I'll tell you, the tense moments in the beginning of trying to figure out what was going on to get everybody in there. So at the end of the day, Doug took an ambulance ride. He's hopefully safe somewhere. They came and got his vehicle. We're good to go. But like, that is not what I anticipate happening when I came home from dinner. And it was like an hour and a half to almost 2-hour ordeal in front of the house.
ate first.
It was, it was unbelievable. Like the things when he handed me that, he goes, take it now. I'll come back for it.
I feel like it's a Saturday Night Live skit. Is basically what it is.
I said, Doug, where are you right now? He's Sanford. No.
Yeah,
he says, I just left M30. So this gets even better. Okay. So this whole time he's been saying, I just was on M30. I'm like, well, you're far from there right now. Okay.
Yeah.
So fast forward the next day, I go out to the ranch. Well, I get off on River Road out there by M30, right? So I get off. Well, they got it closed.
Yep.
The 10 is closed.
Yeah.
So I get off and I'm like, shit.
Now you have to.
So I have to do this roundabout and I'm like, well, they got this whole thing closed. So I'm trying to figure it out. So I take a right. I'm following this detour. I'm going everywhere. It hits me in my mind. I go, no wonder Doug was fucking confused. I can't even figure out where I'm at to go to the ranch. I go, where am I? He got lost in the detour.
It takes you down Star. He just did a couple jogs. And
he was at my place. I said, I ended up, I swear to God, I was over by Fillmore's house trying to get to the ranch. I was in Hope. I drove around. I'm like, where is this taking me? So then I start laughing out loud. And I'm like, I'll guarantee you he got stuck in this exact same thing, and he ended up in my place and was like, look, I don't know what to do. So he parked, and he's like, someone get me home because I have no idea where I'm at.
So this next story was a huge topic all the way through 2025, and it's going to continue to be a big topic going into the future, and that is the federal government wanting to sell off public lands. It's going to continue to be a hot button issue for a long time to come.
Yeah, and you know they kind of pulled back the reins a little bit when they got pressure on that, but it's interesting when we talk about it and thinking back to where we were at the time, it hadn't been resolved.
Right, and it's always going to be an issue. It comes down to the big, beautiful bill. That's what it all comes down to. So,
I just know that there's this Mike Lee character, this senator. And the last thing that I saw was a video where they were getting ready to vote, and this is like wee hours of the night. It was introduced at like 11:30 p.m.
Slipped in.
The entire bill that they were looking at was like 54 pages. There was a 33-page bill introduced at like 11:30 at night that was like, here, this is on selling lands.
Yeah.
It was like that kind of thing. It's like, it's tried to sneak it under the radar, and obviously a lot of stuff got.
What was proposed was 3 million acres of federal land. That's not small.
It's not small.
That is not small. It's 3 million acres of federal land across federal land, BLM. You know, there's different ownerships. A lot of federal land, but who owns it is a little bit different all the way across the board. And as of yesterday, so you know, and in some ways, this is kind of how this whole thing's supposed to work. Probably before you put the bill up for a vote, but I mean, there's an uproar. Everybody out there in the hunting community stepped up. You know, because out west, obviously, even through the Midwest, but especially out west, public lands are huge. For a lot of people, that's the only access that they have, and so hunters united on a front all the way across the country. And he came out yesterday. Mike Lee did, as of yesterday. I haven't seen the latest updates today, if there is any, but he came out yesterday and he addressed hunters like specifically and was like, "Listen, you spoke. I hear exactly what you're saying. It was wrong, I was wrong, and we're going to try to figure out a way to do this to where it's actually right, but we can accomplish both sides." So, I mean, they're saying they want to use it as a debt mechanism, basically to pay down some of the debt, like satisfy some of the debt. But 3 million acres. So yesterday his whole thing was, okay, so now we're going to exclude all federal lands. So if it's federally owned, not necessarily like BLM, we'll exclude all federal lands. BLM land outside of, I think, 5 miles from like a major metro, anything outside of 5 miles is not eligible to be sold. So it's like within 5 miles it could be sold. And then he's talking about this whole trying to create freedom zones, which is like, I haven't seen a ton of detail on it, but like in perpetuity kind of stuff. Kind of like the Mason Tract up on the South Branch. You know, that guy owned what, 1,400 acres, I think, and left it all to be left in perpetuity. So that's the latest, is this guy actually stepped up to the plate. So the big question is, like, when it comes to, you know, public lands and public access, like, just how do you guys feel about that in general? Because on one hand, as Americans, owning land is like the American dream, being able to own land and do your own thing. But on the other hand, if you don't have land or you don't have the means to own land, then public land is obviously a huge resource for you. So
I think well, first of all, if it's a debt mechanism, at $10,000 an acre, $3 million or 3 million acres is only $30 billion, and that's at $10,000 an acre. And $30 billion, you might think, well, that could pay down some debt. I mean, we make
that's interest on in a day.
The time I can sit here and fart, and by the time the fart's over, we spent $30 billion. I mean, that is the amount of money we spend as a country. That how much did we give to whoever, you know, the countries over the years that we've just given them? Billions of dollars that just is wasted. So I mean, public lands, again, I think from Michigan, we don't have the amount of public land, I think, that you do out west. I mean, out west, you're hunting big animals, you're hunting elk, you know, you're hunting mule deer, a lot of that stuff. I mean, public land, you have to have that to kill an elk out there. I mean, unless you go through an outfitter, but, you know, the public land, you can go out there and do it yourself. I mean, that's what we like to do, DIY stuff. So for me, I think there wasn't a lot of voice. I didn't hear a lot of voices in Michigan, not as many as you'd hear like out
As you hear
west,
out west, yeah.
because that is a part of their day.
Yep.
They go out west. They spend a lot of their time on public land. I mean, there is a lot of it out there. Here in Michigan, we have some great public access properties. DNR, I've killed turkeys on state land. I've shot a lot of ducks on state land. I've never shot a deer on state land, but a lot of people do.
Yep.
And a lot of people depend on it. And you'd hate to see that property, that opportunity for somebody who doesn't have the ability to hunt any private land taken away from them, to create a little revenue for a government that wastes millions and millions and billions of dollars, our money, all the time. So let's take more away from us. That just doesn't make sense to me.
That's isn't there a better way?
Yeah.
Like there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way to generate revenue to pay down debt.
I think as a revenue generator, I think that's a terrible excuse.
Terrible.
I think it was, I don't know about that portion. I do know that I mean, for me, it's a preservation thing. I mean, when we have our federal lands, state lands, BLM, all the different types of lands that are open to the public, regardless, and we're not just talking about hunting rights. I mean, camping and fishing and exploring and hiking and the things that we can do. This is preservation of this. Otherwise, it just ends up in contractors' hands, ends up being housing, and we just start crushing things. And that whole thing carries over to, herd health of elk out west start to diminish because they don't have the place to go, winter and all. Yeah. And so for me, it's not just about the hunting rights. I mean, it's kind of like, look, this is our land, right? It's part of America. It's a federal land, it's government, but we're all allowed to use it. And I think, there's a lot more people that would use that than have their own land that they can hunt, in my opinion. I don't know if that's a true fact or a fact or not, but like, I feel like there's like, for me, we don't own land in Montana. So I would be going to a public place to hunt it, but I do have land in Michigan. And so it's like, there are things that we can go back and forth on, but I just think it's integral for preservation and conservation, just to save this pristine nation. It pisses me off that they're like, well, let's just sell that off.
Yeah.
To what? I mean, for what?
Yeah, to what? For what?
Yeah. I mean, and for the end goal of saying, well, we ran the country shitty, and I just want to be able, like, I ran my state shitty, so I want to sell that so I can just make up for what I ran shitty. Yeah. That's the part that doesn't sit well with me. Is like, hey, we have this beautiful thing over here we're going to use as a debt collector. We're just going to, let's sell that off and pay for our mistakes.
It should be sacred.
Run better.
It should be sacred.
It should
for
be.
us.
It should
to keep that public and
now there are things like you said within 5 miles and infrastructure, but you start to think, when does 5 miles become the next 5 miles? It's like you do that, and then 5 miles later there's another one, and then 5 miles later there's another one, and it just they get around it somehow, some way, and they start to kind of think about that, and they're like, that's fine. In 15 years that'll be within 5 miles of that city, and then we'll sell that off, and so. I get it, but I do think there are just places that should never be touched. For some of us, the hunt never stops. Grizzly understands that more than most. Rugged, reliable, and built to never back down. Whether you're on the trail, by the water, or deep in the dark timber, Grizzly is by your side. Tough enough to take on the wild and ready for whatever you can throw. Grizzly is committed to products that never let you down. Always on the hunt with Grizzly.
Out here in the wild, precision isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. Leupold Optics is built on the foundation of American craftsmanship, where every features function first. For over a century now, they've combined dedication and technology with a relentless put-it-to-the-test attitude, creating optics that stand up when everything else stands down. When it matters most, you need the best. That's what you get with Leupold Optics. While other companies out there warranty failure, Leupold guarantees performance for life. You've got things that matter. Memories, heirlooms, documents, firearms. And we all know that life is unpredictable. At Winchester Safes, they make sure life's unpredictable moments don't take those things from you. They use state-of-the-art methods that refuse to sacrifice quality. They put everything they have into their products, offering proven protection and peace of mind. There's only one safe company worthy of the title the American legend, and that's Winchester Safes. Follow at Winchester Safes or learn more on winchestersafes.com. When you're miles from help, second chances don't exist. That's why we shoot Rage broadheads. Massive cutting diameter, field point accuracy, and devastating results when it matters most. Hunt with Rage. Well, for this next story, Jay, let's talk a little bit about groundhog hunting.
Well, we talked about a missile earlier. I had a hot missile. It was the middle of the rut. I was 20 feet up, and we had bucks fighting beneath the stand. I could see there was a potential shooter when it got shooting light with my binos, and that's when the old belly rumbled.
Oh, yeah. I feel like this is kind of one of those stories. It's almost like missing an animal with your bow. Like, anybody who hasn't been in this situation is a liar. So take a listen and let us know what you think.
I was in Illinois, and we were hunting. It was like the 7th of November, like the very best day of all time. We get up in the stand, and at the lodge the night before, we had fried chicken. Oh, it was good too. Hungry. It was an all-day set. I ate too much of it.
Yeah.
Got up in the morning real early, and we sneak into the stand, and you can see in the field bucks are chasing.
Yeah,
and you can just see them run, but you could hear them going crazy. And the old excitement happens early on.
Adrenaline.
And the belly starts moving.
Yeah.
Now you're grunting.
Now I'm really pulling it back. And the camera guy at the time, I said, hey, I'm going to have to ruin this morning. I think I'm going to try and pull it back in. So I sit down, and it goes back in. I'm like, okay, I'm good. And then it's coming out. Yeah. And at that point, I look down, and it's too dark.
Pull it back in. Sorry.
Yeah.
Pull it back in.
Sorry.
Yeah. I thought my body was going to get rid of. Nope. So seconds before. It was a bad setup.
Pull it back in.
Give you a second, folks. Give me a second.
Hey.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is my foot's on the stand, ready to go down, and I look down, and it's still too early to film, so we're going to pass this buck up anyway. Mid-150s frame.
Yeah.
And I did not care.
Yeah.
He was sitting there. I said, I don't give a shit. I hope you run fast, because I'm getting down here. And I move over and I found this this big hollowed out, I don't know what lived in there. It was like an old log. Sat on it like it was a toilet. Boom.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It ruined the hunt that morning.
Yeah.
It sucked, man. So you guys went to Manitoba with the family last summer and had a great wild experience. And then, tell me about that.
You know, for all the nastiness that trip threw at us with the weather and the conditions and the bears and everything else, there were also a ton of memories made. When I look at Gunner going up there for his first time, Ryder returning for the second time, and then also Kylie joining in on the trip and having her catching her first big northern, there were some unbelievable memories made in that trip.
You had a day where you had a lot of firsts.
Yep.
First shore launch, first walleye, first northern, all the things. Like, what in your mind, what was happening in that day for you? Like, taking it all in from that perspective.
Well, it was crazy. We spent the morning fishing and really weren't catching anything. We couldn't find anything. And we were on our way into shore lunch, and I was just casting off the boat for fun, and I caught my first northern.
Yeah.
It was a little snake in the grass, but still it was like, okay, well, at least I caught something.
Yeah.
So that was crazy. And then we sit down, we have shore lunch. My first time doing that. It was incredible. Sitting there eating lunch with everybody, and a moose walks through. That was crazy. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then first walleye that night.
Yep.
It was a lot to happen in one day. It was incredible.
It's pretty overwhelming.
It was extremely overwhelming.
Which probably goes back to what you were saying, is there's no place that's comparable, because you can do all of that in one day.
Yeah.
Right? How about you?
Yeah. Talk about your first shore lunch and all that stuff.
What'd you like about it?
Oh, the The thing I liked about the shore lunch was that being proud of eating what I just caught.
Yeah, there you go.
Like it was alive 5 seconds ago. I'm having fun.
Yep.
And then food.
And now you're eating it.
Yeah, remember in the Fit Basket? It is really, really good with ketchup.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like French fries, right?
Tastes like nothing.
Do you remember seeing that moose
Yeah,
at your lunch?
the exact second Louis put his camera down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
The exact second the camera got put down. That's usually how it works when we're out there.
So thermal drone deer recovery is a hot topic. Some states it's completely 100% legit, but other states haven't passed that yet. And you were in a situation just a couple weeks ago where it actually helped.
Yeah, I've never used a thermal drone before. Obviously, we've used drone cameras forever, being a production company. Never used a thermal drone to recover a whitetail ever. And I got to tell you, I am on this train. I'm going to try and do whatever I can to help it get passed because thermal drone recovery should be legal in every single state. Take a listen. I waited for him. He stepped his front leg forward and set it down. And as soon as he did, he basically exposed everything. And I pulled the trigger. And I was honestly, yeah. Like
You were
2 inches makes the difference between he is completely annihilated and dead right there, or he runs onto the neighbor and goes into the corner.
Yep, just a little low.
in the
So-
footage, you can see the bullet.
Oh yeah,
Like,
you
that's
see it come
insane.
in.
Like you
Yeah.
see the bullet coming in, and I'm like, oh, and then you can just see it. Like it's just like you said, it is an inch and a half, and you're like, oh, it was. He's dying, like
Yeah.
you said. But
He's going to,
He's
but-
going to,
Yep.
but it's not going to be as quick as if it was 1 inch above.
Oh,
Yeah.
he'd have been, he'd have died right there if it was
Yeah.
an inch higher. And I could just, side note, I got to stop taking archery shots with a rifle. Like, I don't know why I'm doing that.
Right?
I mean, I guess it's habit. Like,
Yeah.
and forever I've been a high shoulder guy with a gun, but the last 2 deer I've shot, I haven't high shouldered them, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll just tuck it back there. No more.
No more.
No more. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Pound them down.
Break 'em down.
I'm done with that. So anyway, he runs over onto the neighbor, and I said, well, he's out. The neighbor was this year's 80 acres of standing corn still.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to just go blazing in there. We have permission to go on there and all that stuff, but 80 acres of corn, it's like, oof.
Yeah.
Went up, initial blood trail. I had some blood, not great blood. So I'm like, all right, well, the best option here is going to be to bring in a drone. Never had I done that before. I will always do that from now on.
So cool. It's so effective.
It is insane. There's states like Michigan where it's illegal
Which is ridiculous
to do,
Ridiculous.
and I can't figure out why. Like, I don't know. I'm going to make it my mission. We got to get it legalized here in
Well,
Michigan.
it's illegal because they think it's going to be used for the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But that's not why you make something illegal.
Right.
You make it legal because of the benefits.
Yep.
And then if people break the law, then punish them.
Yep.
But
Exactly.
you can't do that in expectation that people are going to commit.
Right.
Yeah. Break the law.
Yeah, and we'll come back because I want to elaborate on all the positives about this whole
Yep.
thing before this episode's over. But I'll just finish out the hunt story quick. So we brought the drone in. I had an idea where this deer was going to be based on the lay of the land. There was a big pond there with a bunch of waterways leading to it. And I'm like, he's in that waterway. I know he is. He probably ran through that corn, got into that thick, nasty waterway, and bedded up. So we got the drone up. It was a 5-minute flight time to get over there in the drone. And at 6 minutes and 37 seconds on the time code, we found the deer.
Yeah.
Took a minute, 37 seconds with zero disturbance, zero anything. Like, we had the deer pegged. There he is, thermal. Boom, jump in on the camera, confirm.
Yeah.
That's 100% him.
And that drone's way up there too. You can't even hear it where it's at.
That drone, I looked at it. Altitude was 427 feet.
Yep.
AGL. So, I mean, that's huge. Zero disturbance, like none. You're staring at a deer through an 80x zoom, and he has no idea you're even looking at him.
Yep.
So this season in Missouri, during our gun season, Sarah Haney from Beaverton, she was the Keefer Brothers hunt winner. She joined us, and she had a pretty cool story.
Yeah, what a way for a hunt to unfold. I mean, there's so many things that came together. We have a personal relationship with Sarah being a taxidermist, even further back for you, having gone to school together since you guys were, since you started school, right? There's just so many cool things that came together, and it all culminated with a giant dream buck. Her words, not mine, buck of a lifetime in Missouri.
So walk me through the story of this one, because there's some rattling involved, which
there is.
How cool is that? First off,
it was awesome. Well, my boyfriend went and sat with me that morning. He didn't go on his hunt. He sat with me, and when we were actually driving out of the driveway, he's like, "Hey, should I grab them big sheds?" And he said, "So you're like, yeah, grab them because you got to have the bigger horns or whatever for this time of year." And my boyfriend will say, "You got to have the clunkers, not the clankers, to get them big deer in." And so you dropped us off. We're sitting out there, and it's kind of dead, nothing happening. And I'm second guessing myself, like, oh man, what did I do? Like, I was seeing deer nonstop 300 yards away, but we're not seeing nothing here. Oh man, I made a mistake. And so Tim, he's like, "You want me to start rattling?" I'm like, "Yeah, go out the back door, And so he steps out the back door on the stairs, and he's just giving it with them clunkers. And it wasn't 5 minutes. He wasn't even done. No, it wasn't even that long because he wasn't even done with his rattling sequence. All of a sudden, he's like, Sarah, big buck. And I'm like, what? Like, are you joking? Like, looking. I'm like, oh my gosh, I see it, And so he leans in and opens that window for me, and I get all set up, and I'm on it, and then, gets behind a tree, you can't shoot, and then he moves, and then I move to get with him, and then fall off my rest and get all settled again, and I see the body, like there's no doubt I'm going to shoot this deer. He's a big mature deer, and of course behind a tree again, and then I'm seeing the canopy of the trees is going to get thick if he walks any farther, and I'm like, I got to do it right now, and I shot, and I just was uncontrollably shaking, and I always say if I ever lose that feeling, stop. Never hunt again.
Just stop.
That feeling is so amazing.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm just sitting there shaking. I'm like, what do you think? And of course, it's so loud in that blind. There's gun smoke. My ears are ringing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, did I just shoot through the hole of the blind? Or the blind? I put a hole in it. Like, what's going on? And Tim's like, no, I seen it jump up in the air, and then it went down in kind of like a ravine or whatever. And didn't come out. So we were pretty hopeful. And then of course, everybody on chat starts.
Oh,
I heard it. I think it was Sarah.
That thing started going off. It was like gunshot. Then Casey's like, I got this one. Then it was like another, and I'm like, oh boy.
Well, there's so much going on at camp when it happened.
Because there's stuff at camp going on. Photos were being done. Drones were being flown.
It was wild.
Reading it.
Yeah.
I read the hunt.
It was about 10. It was probably 10 or 10:30, right? Was it right around in there?
It probably was.
I feel like it's probably 10:30.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we had stuff. Well, I was recovering my deer.
Yeah, we didn't go yet. It was right when we were getting ready to jump in the tracker to go out and
we had done the drone part, but we were going to physically get him.
Yeah.
When she shot, and we're like, well, that was Sarah.
Yeah.
Definitely Sarah.
Yeah. Let's let him rest for a minute. Yeah. We got to figure out how.
Then it's the waiting game, right? Because I hear the shot, and I'm like, my first instinct is I want to text you or call and be like, what's going on? What do you got? But then I know that feeling on the other end of like,
let it just experience it.
Just let it go and let it figure out, and we'll see what happens, right? So that's what it was like. All right, we'll let that sit for a minute while we're focused on all this stuff. Yeah. I mean, it was just mass chaos.
Yeah, and you did call, and I couldn't even talk because I was shaking so bad. I'm just like, here's my boyfriend. Just talk to him. Like I couldn't even get words out. I was shaking
that was
bad.
Probably my favorite part. We actually have it on film. Yeah, it was my favorite part of the whole thing because I think I said something like, what do you got? And you're like, I just shot it. I'll let Tim tell you. It was basically like, I can't talk here. Tim, take the phone. So it was cool.
That's so cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for the 2025 episodes of Wilder Minds, guys. And I just can't, first off, want to thank everybody for your support. This is something that we started fresh out of the gate in early 2025 with. We wanted this podcast to just be kind of an open conversation with the world. We want to talk hunting. We want to talk anything and everything that we want to talk about. And I think we've been able to achieve that. So thank you guys for your support.
Yeah, and I think looking back at all the episodes, it's pretty cool to me. I mean, we're all storytellers, me, you, and Chris, and for us to have these stories kind of live forever, somewhere in a format that, it's just kind of us sitting on the couch talking about some of the stories or some of the, topics or things that happen in our lives in the woods, out of the woods. It's I treasure those moments, and the fact that we can kind of look back over the course of the year and have it all kind of in one spot is pretty special.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Looking forward into 2026, I know we've got a lot of things coming down the pipe that are going to be really exciting, especially as it pertains to Wilder Minds. We're going to start to bring in a ton of different guests. We're going to start to get into a lot more of the mindset type content. We're still going to do the storytelling stuff that we're known for, but we want to bring our audience a lot more than we're doing right right now. So 2026 is going to be a really big year for us for Wilder Minds, as well as everything Keefer Brothers. We've got a lot of content dropping on the app. You can go to keeferbrothers.com, check out everything there, sign up for for a membership over on the app, the educational content through our hunt academies, the stories that we're about to tell through our audio series. We've got a lot of really cool stuff coming people's way.
Yeah, I'm excited. The audio series stuff is kind of been on the back burner, but we're going to go full speed ahead here in the new year, and I think it's going to be something that we look back on and we're very proud of, just like this podcast. Can't wait for the next year.
Yep, that's it for 2025 Wilder Minds. In 2026, we are going on the hunt for something a little bit harder and a little more holy.
Mama say it's some new day song.
Seeing your arrow vanish in the dark is pure adrenaline. Nocturnal makes it clear. Bright, tough, and dead simple to use. Low light or last light. Track your shot all the way through. Shoot Nocturnal.
Some call it out on the trail. I like to call it the road less traveled. The kind of place where the going gets tough. That's where Tracker Off-Road comes in. Made for those who won't back down. Tracker Off-Road delivers the hardest working machines with the greatest capability at the strongest value in the industry. Built by those who know what it takes and designed for those who don't turn back. Tracker is dedicated to delivering machines that let you get the most out of your day and your dollar. Ready to take on your next adventure? Go with Tracker Off-Road.
Accuracy isn't optional. It's survival. Carbon Express arrows are built for serious hunters chasing clean kills and confidence in every shot. Across the Midwest or all through Alaska, it does not matter. Hunt hard and shoot straight. Carbon Express.